Hello. So basically, I'm going to do a video in regard to the really important issue for me personally and for many other people in this community, in this universe, in this life, in this space, in this dimension. Now, I am not a complete authority on anything in any regard whatsoever. I do not consider myself a prophet. I do not consider myself an authority. I simply consider myself as a person who is investigating human consciousness and applying it to practical use so he can survive and thrive. That is my definition of myself, and I will not claim that I possess final answers to anything, because I indeed do not. I believe that not all magical methodologies are created equal in any way, shape, or form. Not all magical methodologies are effective. I'm going to share a few anecdotes as well. And I'm going to share my message to the certain people who I am not going to name because they are not worthy of being named. They know who they are. The magical actions in this video are directed towards them. Both of them are males. It is not targeting any females, because if I don't specify this, certain females will claim that they were the target, and they were not the target. The targets of this are specifically male. We are going to basically make a message to everyone. How do I treat my enemies? Okay, how do I treat people who consistently, without any shame whatsoever, try to ruin my life? Magically, psychologically, physically, while at the same time trying to deny it, despite the fact that I have pretty clear evidence from multiple witnesses and friends of mine that they have indeed tried to do what they claim they didn't. Okay? So I'm gonna basically share with you that there is a really specific character trait of black magic asshole in this community. And that character trait of every black magic asshole in this community is that they will never admit that they are working against you. They believe that everyone they are working against is so stupid and retarded that they can work against you, slander you, call you pedophile for a decade with no evidence whatsoever, do magic on you, and that they somehow are capable of deceiving you into talking to them again. Okay? I am working in the last 9 months to become a calmer person, but certain individuals really crossed the line, and so because they keep crossing the line, I have to retaliate. In this case, retaliation will be complete, and there will be no any possibility for reconciliation of any kind in any way, because the boundaries have been crossed long ago. I just have to close the door for a second. Give me a moment. Okay? The only solution for you to survive in magical space okay, in occult space, in esoteric space, is to retaliate in kind and retaliate better than the original attack so that they cannot cripple you again. No amount of forgiveness, diplomacy, common sense, common reasoning, common courtesy will do the job. Because people in this world enjoy destruction, enjoy chaos, enjoy discord, enjoy malice. And the only way for us to not enjoy those things is to consciously choose to do good and then enjoy the good and then enjoy the creative. A lot of people want to sugarcoat this. So they will see a clearly malignant person, clearly a snake person, clearly hypocritical person, clearly a liar, an alcoholic, a deceptive, malignant, dishonorable individual. And they will try to justify the action that possibly one time in one day they were probably good and they had trauma. And so trauma is the problem. Trauma is never the reason for shitty behavior, for aggressive behavior. Trauma is the reason for pain. When people are traumatized, they feel pain. But pain is not an excuse to be a piece of crap. Do not let anyone deceive you in such a reason. So when people are pieces of crap and they are trying to crap you into believing that their crappy shit is somehow a consequence of trauma, somehow a consequence of pain, they are lying to you. If you believe them, you are mentally crippled. You need a class in logic. You really need. And I'm gonna pretty simply prove how it's not the case. So trauma causes pain. And you have two options of dealing with pain. One is be a crappy person and ruin somebody's life and then blame trauma on it. Two, try to be as constructive as possible and create the world where there is less pain. Okay? So what do dishonorable people always choose without exception? They choose to inflict pain on others. And they blame it on their trauma. So they blame their conscious choice to ruin somebody's life on trauma. As if them feeling pain gives them the right to harm other person for no reason. Okay? I think I am pretty logically consistent here. And I am full of people who are clearly choosing to be destructive towards others for no justifiable reason, telling me it's trauma. No, it's not fucking drama, it's your fucking choice. Do not bullshit me, bullshit somebody else. If you want to be destructive, but do not try to deceive me, okay? And if you are destructive towards me, I have to retaliate because you are not giving me any choice. And you are doing the same goddamn thing over and over again, magically, spiritually, physically, for years. And you are trying to do the same thing. And you tried to do the same thing 4 times, and you know who you are. You know who you are. I am not gonna name you. But you know who you are. And I will never publicly utter your name in my life. Again, because you don't deserve it. Because saying somebody's name gives them honor and dignity, even if you speak negatively about them. It acknowledges them as a human being. I am not willing to say your name and acknowledge you as a human. Because in my definition of humanity, you are not human. You are something which I will take pleasure in getting rid of. Because you crossed the line. You crossing the line was your conscious choice. And I was really hesitant to do this, to publish this, to keep publishing this, and to keep enjoying your ruination and claiming credit for it, but because you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, and you are not leaving my efforts alone. Whenever you have an opportunity, I have no other choice. You know who you are. So, what to do when you have a difficult individual to work on? What to do when they are having really consistent malignant intent towards you? What to do when there is no way of dealing with them honorably? What to do? What to do? So I'm gonna tell you what to do. You chant the name of Adar at least 1,000 times. You energize yourself properly. Then you call King Paimon to attack the target. In this video, all of that will be done, but the name of the target will be whispered to protect their privacy here. I am not publicly ashamed of this video because I consider this action completely justified. But fundamentally, you need to keep doing this until you completely destroy them. It can be effort, which is lasting for months, years. It doesn't matter. You don't give up until they cease all activity against you altogether. I tried forgiving. I really did certain people, this specific individual. I gave him 3 different chances. I helped him a lot despite the fact of what he did to me. Treasonous actions he committed on multiple occasions. Every single time he pulled the dagger, stabbed me in the back. Every single goddamn time. And so you see, when you forgive dishonorable person, they will ruin you better next time. And so this is basically the message to anyone who ever betrayed me. There will be no forgiveness. From me to you, whoever you are, especially not this specific individual. So I will chant Adar, I will call Paimon, I will curse that individual. The ritual will be repeated until the person is dealt with. And he ceases all of the activities which are conflicting with my plans. I call you Paimon by the power of Barham. I call you Paimon by the power of Baram. I call you Paimon to curse and keep ruining him, attacking him and destroying him until he is completely crushed or out of all of my affairs. Attack him, destroy him, and obliterate him until he completely ceases attacking any of my affairs in any way. Raise against him all of your armies, all of your spirits, and all of your servants, by the power of the covenant we have signed, and by the power of the Berhatia oath, and by the power of Barham Belgadam Toran Mardan Marjan Margashal Mashkadia Rangadi Mashalaka Hashkatas Bilata Gidia Shamsi Husimia Simia Kadma Mashkir Suka Parabirushala Huenka Yalbaja Yaviash, and by the power of Adar, I call you Paimon, and I infuse you with my own dark energy and dark power, which I do possess. And I infuse you with the energy of my black flame, which I do possess, as a payment for fulfillment of this task. I recite this request with full understanding that it will temper and reduce the flow of celestial energy into me, and weaken my ability to work with constructive names of God. I, however, fully embrace the consequences of my actions and offer you what I listed. By the power of the covenant we forged, which is the covenant between the teacher and a student, you have sworn an oath that you will magically empower and guarantee for the success of all of my magical operations, which are unrelated to love. By the power of the covenant we made, by the power of the infused energy I offered, and by the power of the darkness which you have awoken within me, I call you to fulfill the request I am giving you. For you are not commanded as a servant. You are asked as a teacher to fulfill the term of a contract which you have forged with me, with your own consent, as a high infernal intelligence, whose understanding permeates the forbidden secrets of reality, beyond the passage of what we humans experience, as the means of material cause and effect. I invoke the essence of Adar, the furious divine name, and I invoke the power of Barhami Malgatam Toran Mardar Marjalarka Bargashal Mashkati Shankati Marjalak to make you do what I have asked. Unleash discord and chaos, fury and terror. Give them no rest or pity. For if you do, you have violated our covenant. And protect me from all of the retaliation of the accursed enemy, which have committed treason against me thrice. Request what you want in return, and I will fulfill it. For my obligation is to channel you when you wish and be a mouthpiece for you and your allies. For those are my terms of this contract, which I am willing to fulfill. There is a warning to be given to all of those willing to dabble in painful arts, to transgress your way, the way of destruction, fundamentally leaves one destroyed. At the end, I will be destroyed, and so will you be destroyed. And the dark flame, the black flame, is the destructive principle of the universe, known to those who have never felt it as the original sin. It is the dark force which allows you to choose to destroy. It allows freedom. When you destroy, you also embrace the consequences of the destruction you cause. You are allowed to destroy your enemies. But by destroying your enemies,
you will weaken your ability to receive the full celestial replenishment, and you will bind yourself to the darkness of tectonic forces with every act of painful magic. You are binding yourself to that current of the divine judgment, and you are embracing the destructive side of the universe. Once you are willing to use this power responsibly, with understanding of its consequence, you can successfully tap into the forbidden knowledge which we offer. This doesn't justify you taking arms against those who did nothing to you. Those cases will be treated separately, and they will absorb into you much more dark energy without as big of a benefit than when you curse your enemies. But on the way where you curse and destroy your enemies, you will find new ones. The war will rarely cease. Those who live by the sword will die by the sword, as it is said. So it is your choice to wage war on your enemies instead of forgiving them and forgetting them. My way is to destroy them. My way is to retaliate. That is the way of the dark spirits. However, it is not the only way. You always have an option to forgive and cease fighting. But that is not an option which will give you the knowledge of the darkness.
Okay, so this was the channeling of Paimon. It was really dramatic for me on multiple levels. I personally do not want to do the channelings like this, but Paimon insisted that in order for me to perform this publicly, I have to also do the channeling after, and I did. I basically prepared the entire day for this on multiple ways, and I'm really exhausted and tired, really shocked by the outburst of energy I have received, and also by the preparation. It was really exhausting, it was really time consuming, and I really tried to basically avoid doing this. I really tried to tap into my inner peace and put the sword into the chest, uh, into the treasure trove. I tried to leave my baneful days back. But as you can see from the title of this video, I failed. You know, I cannot simply tolerate people trying to ruin me. I am not a saint. And so I will fight. And I will fight to the end. I will not forgive. I will not forget. I can't do it. I tried to do it. I already did it 3 times. They did the same thing again, and I am not taking it anymore. I am not taking it anymore, and it will be war until the end. That person is not worthy of being named. I will never publicly name my foes. I will never publicly slander or criticize any individual by name because it doesn't matter. You can whisper the name of your enemy in every curse you have even to say it out loud in order to not give them proper respect. And spirits will hear it. There is no need to ever make a public drama with specific individual, with named individual. I personally do not and will not ever turn this into a drama channel. This channeling is performed as an example to all of you what happens when you curse. What is the end game? What are the real consequences? When you ask for a curse, what are you asking for? What are you strengthening? What are you embracing? What are you going to experience? Doing curses is in a sinister way, cosmic justice. However, doing that, despite the fact that it is sometimes just and justified, will not put you in a good place. As you have heard from this channeling, it's a terrible long-term strategy. In defeating black flame and the primal impulse of chaos, which is within us, in a that way, is fundamentally going to destroy everything. It is ultimate principle of chaos. It is unlimited destruction, which you are empowering and receiving certain insight through the process, which is true, by the way. But it is destruction. It is chaos. It's not nice. We have to stop pretending it is nice. We have to stop living in a delusion that black is white and white is black and there is a huge gray area so you can paint the canvas. When you curse, it's an equivalent of taking a dagger and stabbing. Okay? It's a war. And too many of you individuals, not even referring to this specific individual, are willing to draw a knife and stab for no apparent reason, which is completely differently judged than if you stab for a reason. Obviously, stabbing people is wrong with the knife unless somebody is trying to kill you, right? Unless it's 100% self-defense. But I am not a saint. If you are ruining my life, I will do everything I can magically to deal with you. And a lot of you individuals think it's like, I am just testing. This is a test. And, I am empowering myself with the negative energy. So it's just a path to enlightenment. So it has to be nice, okay? It's not nice. You are doing harm to other people, okay? You are free to do harm because you have freedom. But harm is harm. Destruction is destruction. Do not paint it. Do not be a deceiver. Black color is black color. Don't be a dishonorable person and say it's white. Which I see too much in this community, People painting black white. People painting destruction as creation. If I shoot somebody or somebody shoots me, I'm not gonna get healed by you painting my wound over and saying, it's not a wound. I painted the blood. You see? I painted the blood, therefore it's different. No. Stop. Stop right there. What I'm doing is destructive actions. Probably wrong actions. But I can't stand certain people doing certain things anymore. Especially that one specific individual. Okay? And, I really tried to tolerate this nonsense for a really long time. And I failed. I tried to be calm in this specific situation. I failed. I tried everything I could to forget the situation. I failed. I thought that by ignoring the situation, I will somehow resolve the situation and the person will just stop. The person will just cease to bother me, cease to mess with my plans, cease to go against me on every opportunity. By the way, I am responsible for this mess because I let that person in my life. The person is male. The name is male. There is possibly a second male associated with this male, so that second male can also be hit. But I didn't name that second male. I named just one name. I didn't name two names. I named one. I think I explained consequences of certain things pretty well. And by the way, this curse doesn't have a barrier around it. You know, last time I did it, I put a barrier. This time there's no barrier, so it's like a virus. It expands. Okay. Talk to you soon.